Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GameStar TV. We just had game number one of the second round of Darksided versus Ethereal, and the Darksided lads, after a bit of a shaky start, come through with the victory. We're now on to round number two. My name is Kit Fox. It's a pleasure to be your host, but just before we pass you back to your casters, Skimmy and Vandie, for the fifth time this evening, ! GS HotS into the Twitch chat will get you into the draws to win a 12 loot chest bundle thanks to Blizzard ANZ. And of course, without their support, this would not be possible. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts to our sponsors and to you, the viewers, because without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. That's why we do it. It's why we love working for esports. So without further ado, for game number two of Darksided versus Ethereal, I'm passing you back to your faithful casters, Skimmy and Vandie.
Thank you very much there, Voice of Australia. Let's jump into it, Vandie. Potentially the last game of tonight, but who knows? It is the best of three in Ethereal. I mean, this is a team that played a lot of games, got a lot of love on stream tonight, so anything is possible.
Still anyone's game. That's why I like this best of three format. It just means you can learn from the first series that you played and then just improve, essentially. And that's what we saw NMD doing. That's what we saw Ethereal doing. Let's go. I'm ready. Infernal Shrines. Second time for the evening. And we had a very, very nice comp actually coming out from Ethereal for this map.
This is it, Vandie. I mean, I always get concerned about this. It's the exact same as what we saw last week, where teams keep taking Darksided to these small, skirmish, heavy-based maps, right? So first pick is in favor of Darksided as a result of Ethereal picking this one up once again. But, I mean, you just keep playing into Darksided strategy.
Yeah, essentially it. It comes down to the wide variety of heroes that Darksided can play and the flex picks that are available to them. We did see Demise playing Zeratul, whereas usually it was Sashin who preferred that hero. So really, Darksided and Nomia, they're showing that the more that they continue to work as a team, they expand their hero pools, and then just give themselves these flex picks. It's just great to see. And Ethereal as well. They have a lot of comfort picks on their side. Like, they did stick with the Diva. One could argue it was not the best on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but it did manage to bring out a respect ban on a map like this.
Wow. You know you're doing something right when the Diva is that well respected that they have to pocket ban it away from you. Understandably so. I mean, they played a really good defensive, immortal, sort of shrine control heavy team comp. So, I mean, it puts the ball in the court now for Ethereal. What kind of other play styles do they have?
Well, with Ethereal, definitely. They have played without a Diva before. They can do it again. It just means that they'll be forced onto things. Ragnaros could come out again. Tyrael ban coming out so early. Very, very interesting for me to see.
I mean, from the past, I've known that the side of Darksided love to run Tyrael comps. They love to be aggressive. They love to run hyper-aggression. It's the narrative we say in and week out, Vandie. If you are going to get the Uther, let's at least deny away that Tyrael. But, with them looking at an Ubrak, first of all, this does now allow Uther to be taken away from them.
It does indeed. So Unubrak being snatched up, but then what is the next high priority hero? But with Ethereal, they haven't really wanted much to do with Uther this evening. No. So will they pick him up? Perhaps not. I think they've got their eye on other targets. Maybe they would run... I'm just trying to think, what tank? They should take Dahaka. I think Dahaka would be a great pickup for their squad if they don't want to run that Uther.
I'm just trying to think what else they could do. I mean, if they could play Gul'dan, excellent at dealing with the Greymane. We know that Haki loves to play the Greymane. Another great map for him sticking onto a target and actually stacking, for that matter, the cocktail as well. So a well-timed Horrify, he jumps in, he gets jumped into the entire team, right? So if they can play Gul'dan, if they don't want to play that Leeming like they've been doing all night, it'd be a lovely little variation. But the Dahaka, yeah, for sure. So good to pass up.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. This is the ideal opener. I'd love to see them open with a Dahaka and Uther, and then really they can then flex into other things. Ooh,
I did not see that coming.
No, they've opted for Sylvanas and Zeratul, and these are very, very confident picks coming out. So I like the Zeratul. That's almost a deny pick on the side of Darksided because they don't want to allow Darksided to have that Zeratul. Now they can have the playmaking abilities from him, and that Sylvanas, if they win the objective, they can potentially snowball quite nicely on a map like this.
It's what we say every single time, Vandie. The Sylvanas, if you get the objective, you win harder. But if you're losing, I mean, what are you really doing? You're passively turfing until what kind of condition is met, right? So I'm curious to see how they try and flesh this out. Already they have that synergy between the Wailing Arrow and that VP. So as it drops, big damage, no response. So it's showing me that they're saying we expect a kill comp, we're going to try and protect our squad or sort of re-engage when you're engaged, if that makes sense. But Malfurion has been picked up here. So still, you know, despite the changes, he is still receiving a lot of love, Vandie.
Yep, he's still being picked up, and a lot of it I think has to do with that silence and really being able. You can lock out someone for so long with that silence. It's just, and the root as well, entangling roots. It's just the CC that he brings. It's just so good, and he does have more sustain than say an Uther, but on the trade-off, he lacks that Guardian talent that we keep harping on and on about. So great at keeping the backline alive.
The Fausted has been banned. But, I mean, if I'm the side of Darksided, you have to ban Uther here. No question about it. 3 stuns or 3 huge ways of CCing has to be. It is Hobbit, it is locked in, so that's a smart ban.
Yeah, definitely. With that Zeratul as well, it could be a nightmare having a Divine Shield when you're trying to pick off a Zeratul, or even keeping that Sylvanas alive as well. As I was saying, like Ethereal, it feels like they're drafting very confidently. You don't generally draft a Sylvanas unless you think you're going to win the objectives quite confidently. Like, that's the end of it. Otherwise, like you said, she can be quite a sitting duck. She can almost drag your team down in some aspects. But what do they need now to round out that comp? They really need to start getting a nice, strong front line going, whether it be things like the Muradin, whether it be the Haka is still available as well. If they do want to choose the Haka Diablo, this is one of his strong maps as well. Let's wait and see what they pick.
I mean, you can see the reasoning behind why tanks were locked in there for Darkseid, try and limit the amount of options that Ethereal have. And we don't know the depths of their hero pools. We don't know what else they have left up their sleeves. I mean, Johanna is the poor man's Arthas, as I like to call it. Does bring the wave clear, which they'll need. But they need some synergy. If that's the route they're trying to run with, between this Zeratul and Sylvanas, what raw burst damage do they have to try and follow up that silence? What can they do to actually punch on with? I'm thinking Greymane. They do go for the Diablo, which I like. That gives them the APOC to combine with. So they've got all these big CC elements, Vandie, but they need some absolute huge damage to follow it up with.
Yeah, especially with that Oriel as well. She needs a good battery, so something like the Greymane could be quite nice. Gul'dan could be also a very nice pick because he has an inbuilt defense mechanism as well. A lot of the time, Diablo will try and initiate for the team that leaves his backline somewhat exposed if there's not a secondary tank. So Gul'dan could slot in really nicely to their comp.
This could be really smart drafting, saying, hey, we can go so many different ways with this. We could go Valor, we could go Lunara, we could even go Gul'dan. I dare you to pick up that Greymane, because if you do, hey, I've got a response and it's coming straight at you.
Yep.
Wow. They just decided to flip that one absolutely 180 on its head.
Opting for that Abathur, going to get that lane soak, even when, say, okay, so that's very interesting, that Abathur pick. It's almost like having a global, because every time they go for the objective as a team, he's going to get that soak going. And then he can also symbiote and, well, do Abathur things, essentially, and just be a nuisance. And on that Genji as well, he's empowering the Genji.
Vandie, you know what I'm really scared for is the fact that you can do an evolution of Genji, and you've got double Genji. I mean, one Genji's enough, but when you've got 2 Genjis screaming at you saying, I need healing, it's like having kids at a primary school.
Malfurion's like, shut up, all of you. I can only heal one. He's going to pick the real Genji, of course. But yeah, exactly right. 2 Genjis on your plate to deal with. That is, with such a squishy backline as well, that is scary.
And not to mention, the symbiote does allow the skirmishing potential of all these heroes to greatly be buffed. But we have to obviously consider that Zeratul is a big counter towards Abathur, as long as he has the presence of mind to find it. Wow, Zul is locked on in. I mean, Vandie, they have so much wave clear. What I'm really concerned about is where does this damage come out from this big combo that they have set up for?
Well, what I'm thinking is now, okay, looking at their comp, they're going full push. So does that mean they're going to sit in the lane with 2 pushes and just push for days, try to get that and ignore the objective altogether? Are they going to go for a race comp? It almost looks like a racing comp. Whereas we can see Darkseid, they definitely have the long game in mind. Interesting.
Darkseid are drafting a lot more standard, a lot more for the fact of not only the map, but the ability to punch on and force those fights, win the objective, and sort of prevent the Sylvanas finding that cheese, if we put it any value. It's going to be greatness playing the Sylvanas. So he does have a few more options up his sleeve. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. But the battery for this Oriel, I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be Sylvanas. I mean, What are your
It would
thoughts?
be Sylvanas, I believe, with her dagger. That was the best chance they've got of getting that. Or with Zeratul, when he does do his combo, can generate a bit of hope. But there's no. She's like a burst charge battery, essentially. She's going to get a whole lot at once, use it, and then there's going to be nothing else incoming for a while. So that's not really what. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we're going to have to find out, guys. Here we go. Game number 2 of the best of 3 series in round 2 of playoffs. 2 of the finest teams in ANZ, and on the left-hand side it is Darksider, currently 1-0 in this series. It's going to be Haki on Genji, Moops on Malfurion, Session on Anubarak, Vikrak on Arthas, and Demise on his trusty old Abathur.
And rocking the red, we've got Team Ethereal, Crazometer on Diablo, Touch Me on Zeratul, Luminum playing Oriole, Cyrilly on Zul, and lucky last is Greatness on Sylvanas.
Here's a fun fact, Vandie. I mean, I know you love me when I talk about story time, but once upon a time, Skimmy went onto HotS and he looked at the hero leaderboards and he saw that Demise's name was voted, not even voted, actually placed as the #1 Abathur in the whole of the North American region. Let's see if he lives up to that hype. Straight away, the aggression achieved. It has to come from Sylvanas. Why else would it not? And first blood is picked up in an instant. Oriole gone, Luminous shredded free. Double kill. Let's look for Sylvanas. Can they find the triple? The Howling Blast was so dangerously close to early, but straight away, I'm already scared for Ethereal.
Yeah, I'm definitely scared for Ethereal. So it looked like they wanted to do some sort of racing
And first
tactic. I loved that pickup on Abathur though by touching. Perfect. That's what they want. Start clearing it up. But Zul falls in a trade on the bottom as well. He gets rooted. There's so much CC on the side of Darksider. They instantly honed in on Greatness, seeing that she was what they were doing essentially. So once you unpick the Sylvanas, the rest sort of unravels, does it not?
No time for talking, Vandie. Kills are happening. We've got to keep our eyes on the map, and the pressure's going to be in the bot lane right now. I mean, this is an uphill battle for Ethereal, to be quite frank. I mean, no good battery for the Oriole. The ability for them to sort of combo with any burst damage. It's, as you say, do they just sacrifice? Do they just look for pure aggression in terms of sieging potential? But Diablo just gone like that. Thinks he's safe under his tower, but a beautiful route from Moops ensures that Darksider pick up another kill.
And they're pressuring hard. I mean, Zul, he can't even go out to wave clear because there's just so much pressure down there. That's why I'm just a bit frustrated. Really, if they had a Gul'dan, things could have been different. Because what would have happened is Darksider would have come to try and fight. Gul'dan could have done a ton of damage, and they could have actually had a proper fight on their hands. Instead
Absolutely.
Of just, well, like, if you're doing a race comp, you want the Oriole to be able to sustain you while you do the race, but with no battery, how is she going to do that?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to really put it lightly. It's not the most attractive team comp, but I say, we'll have to see how they decide to play it out. The first shrine is active in the top lane now. They, despite all of our negativity, if you will, are currently a half level ahead.
Yep.
Greatness is going to begin that shrine. He's got the Shadow Dagger ready. He's got the team members coming on in swiftly. Zul is deciding to actually fully rotate up as opposed to doing a double soak, which we've seen Zul's in the past do, whilst Demise stays pretty with the soaking in bot lane.
Yep, that's going to be the Abathur there. So the longer that they can keep Ethereal tied up here.
Look at the root. Wow, triple root. It does so much work and does get the Sylvanas kill, but maybe the retaliation here. Do pick up an Uber. Beautiful 1-for-1 trade.
Perfect, that's what we want to see. But the longer that they keep Ethereal tied up here, the more that Abathur will get. Now Demise has actually walked up into the lane. He's now body soaking. He's getting double the experience going.
So Ethereal really need to make sure they get value from this. They need to ensure that this punish is achieved, because right now, Abathur is doing what Zul should be doing. He's double soaking. He's got no pressure. He can just do this for free without a fear in the world. And, you know, if Darksider pulling them off this starts to become a big uphill battle.
Yep, but I do like this. Touch Me is posturing quite nicely, quite aggressively, but he could get caught out because of that scaling drone.
Touch Me is being caught upon. It's not going to matter because the Howling Blast is there and a route for insurance. They pick up their kill. They take him on down. He was looking for the aggression, but Touch Me is just a little bit too aggressive for his own good. And Haki, so frustrating to verse against. Swift Strike, so agility. You can't touch me. Hammer time.
Yeah, that's really it. So the annoying thing about this is that when you think about it, with Abathur gone, it's actually a 5v4 on the side of Ethereal. They just cannot make it happen. They just don't have enough damage on their
Howling
side.
Blast again. It's the generic combination, Vandie. And just look at that dash in, dash out. The damage is done. And the kills have been had. And one by one, they fall the soldiers on the wall. At 4 level leads. as level 7 has been picked up here by Darksided, and still the body soak continues from Demise.
They desperately need a kill now, Ethereal, to really get some of the pressure off this objective, but they can. They're going to get the objective after all of that. Thank goodness they managed to pick up the Immortal for their troubles. Sorry, Punisher for their troubles.
It's the silver lining that they needed, because I tell you what, if they didn't achieve that, they would have lost so much soak from having Zul up there, and to have that topped off with this really sealed the deal.
That's correct, and now finally we can start to see greatness using the Sylvanas to the best of their advantage. Really going to keep that Punisher nice and healthy while they push on.
So the commitment was justified. The ability for Sylvanas to disable his structures is going to find a lot of value. That Punisher is still so damn healthy. Yes, it's only 5 minutes in the game. No, they won't get a keep, but the damage will ensure they try and keep themselves topped up and toe-to-toe with this XP.
And the fact that they also got an Arcane Punisher as well to help zone off Darksided even more, that's great value coming up. So already, by that huge push that they got, they can equalize some of the experience, but
Darksided looking for the retaliation. Boneprints wants Vikrac shredded. Beautiful stuff here by Ethereal. They've got some mean business to set. They get the double tower. The re-engage from Darksided was miscalculated, so to speak. And Ethereal say, yeah, come at us, bro.
Come at us and see what happens. But really great with the Touch Me putting down a lot of damage.
I'm loving this confidence. I mean, we're disrespecting this cheese comp, so to speak, that they have, but right now they're saying, look, this is what we need to do in the early game. If we don't do this, we do passively lose, but hey, we're going to bring some aggression. We are not scared of this team.
No, it's all about that. That's exactly, we did pinpoint how their comp works. They really need to win that objective, and then we can start to see the strength of their comp shine. But did we see how long it took them to win the objective? That's why we were worried. So it's not as much as us disrespecting, it's just, once again, they've chosen the uphill battle. But it's working for them. Continue along this path, and very well, we could see Darksided perhaps maybe admitting a defeat here. We'll see how it plays out.
Oof. Wouldn't that be a fairy tale ending? I mean, this would draw us to double best of threes on the night, week 3, really sort of upping the level of play here. And level 10 is going to be hit by Darksided first. They've got a very small window to try and execute this before 10 is picked up by Ethereal. Will they look for the engagement? Standard ultimates across the board, but no Army of the Dead. This time it is Sindragosa, instead of saying, hey, you have Sylvanas, we need our own response to that.
Yep, so if they win the objective, they can then get a nice strong push going, so very, very interesting. Plus they are rocking 2 tanks. Mind you, they do have a Nubrak.
Vikrac is in the front line, he's bitten off a little bit more than he can shoot. He's 1v5, I don't think that's what Office is designed to do. Sindragosa comes across saying, you cannot touch the rest of my team. But that is an unfortunate timing, Vandie. The shrine spawns exactly on their doorstep. It's a 4v5 right off the bat.
I think Vikrac was showing a little bit of overconfidence there. He was almost playing as though he had picked up Army of the Dead. And then he ran in and he's like, all I've got is this little Cindy right now. And this is awkward, team. Come bail me out. So now it's going to be a 3v5 on the side of Darksided. Because, of course, Abatha, he can only contribute so much with that symbiote. Until...
Absolutely. A lot of damage is coming across. Haki's going to get aggressive now. The double pressure, should I say. VP comes across, actually negates the Twilight Dream. Moves not finding any value there. But it's so many low members. Can they try and collapse? Haki is looking to try and get the reset. A-Pop coming across there. Who's going to connect on just one? It is Vikrac once again. He is the battery. He is the punching bag, if you will. After the first to fall again. So much damage across the board. Nobody drops except one Vandie. And it really should have been a 14 wipe.
Oh my god, they're not done yet, Skimmy.
But it's still going through. They get Oreo in the very end there, and Haki is on the flank. This is when he looks to try and excel. He's looking for the reset. The shurikens are coming. Surely's out of mana. 33 little dudes to 6. They were so close.
Oh, but it's not all said and done. The objective can take quite a long time to get, so I feel like they're going to contest this one. They're not yet done. They just need to get it up. Oriole being down is just the only little issue here. They really need Oriole in this fight.
They need to get in there. 7 skulls is all they need. But they're jumping onto that back line. Oh, beautiful Howling Blast, just predicting the movement pattern there of Sylvanas and taking out greatness in an instant. Chrysometer desperately trying to hang on to his dear life. No chance for that to come across. Luminum walking into the choke. Containment strike not going to be enough to take out the clone. He falls in the same manner. 2 members gone. Make that a triple kill because Diablo is back with no souls. They do pick up the Mortar Punisher again though, Vandie. Let's not forget that.
So their efforts were not in vain. I mean, they did fight quite early, but they had an objective in mind. Just get the Punisher, and it's alright if we die. I feel like more members died than they needed to, but at least they set out to do what they needed to do. So now they can go ahead and push. This is where we can start to see some of the split going. Really, Demise now, seeing that they're all about not knowing where they are, he's having to retreat now. And once again, he'll body soak once the objective is out in the open.
When I've got a chance, I've actually been watching the interaction between both Zeratul and Abathur. The mind setup has been so frustrating. He keeps getting revealed from his invisibility, and obviously gives you a lot of awareness as the Abathur players to where should I be, where do I need to burrow to? Because, as we mentioned during the drop, there is a counter which he gladly picked into. So that's a flex of his ability to play the hero.
Yep, exactly right. Once again, Demise is showing, and Darkside is showing how much flexibility they have on their team. Rizomata looking for a bit of an engagement on Sashin. Cocoon does go out.
It does indeed. There goes the VP onto one member. It's only on Mooks. There's no time for a Twilight Dream this time. And the Dragon Blades executes. Greatness gone out of the fight straight away. Once more, Battery is going to be the chance for Diablo to try and generate some hope. Probably not the best chance for it. Self-Aegis on towards Luminum, who's running from the rest of the team, but one by one they fall. It's a triple kill so far for the Dark-Sided, and Luminum trying to get the 1v1 against Haki. The dancing around in the shrub here. Abathur comes across. Cyber Agility with the damage mid-air, and that's Starling points if I've ever seen it.
Oh, Luminum almost getting Haki though in that 1v1. Haki cheated a little bit, did get the symbiote at the end to really secure the kill. But yeah, that's exactly what we were worried about now. Now that 10 has been acquired, now that Abathur can actually contribute with Ultimate Evolution and have that body there, things get a whole lot more scarier, Skimmy.
Well, space defense duties right now, they are still on an even ton of footing. What can they do? Vikrat, once again, very low on. Syndragosa comes across and so perfectly timed the coordination between both the frontliners. Vikrat does pay the price, but Sessions Burrow ensures that they get the first kill on Greatness once again. They do get Kazonta out, but Touch Me is taken out as well. It's just a double kill, Dark-Sided, one by one, taking these members out, and each skirmish they've had has always resulted in these kind of outcomes.
Yeah, it really has. So every time they get the fight going, they just get so displaced and scattered. The Cocoon and the Genji, they need to be so mindful of him as well. You can just see every team member is dealing with a different threat, whether it be the Syndragosa, whether it be the Dragon Blade, whether it be the Cocoon. There's just so much going on, and they don't really have the damage or the tools to mitigate a lot of what's coming at them.
I mean, their team comp isn't really suited for team fighting at all, and that's exactly where Darkside want to abuse you. They want to get in your face, they want to cause some misery and some pain. And the response really for Ethereal is we need to split push, we need to win these punishes and get immense value through Greatness's trade. So they've won the last two. This one here is all up, because I mean, 12 minutes into this game, this one is definitely going to apply a lot more pressure.
Skimmy, you literally said how they need to win. They need to split push. They need to really... They can ignore the objective. They don't need it. Sylvanas can disable structures. They need to get...
He's there. Wow, Sylvanas is gone. The first one to be taken out. Cocoon in the backline. I mean, it's just piece by piece. Once again, the team fight happens. They just have no response. Chrysometer, beautiful clutch Aegis at the very last second, but it's not enough to pick up the kill. And like the last few fights, Luminum left on his own thinking, what can I do? Team, please.
I'm the last remaining survivor, but that's just it, Skimmy. They need to stop team fighting. They cannot win a team fight. Essentially, they need to play to their comp. You know, if there was an Illidan instead, who could then pressure up top, really get them to threaten the key, and then hunt away. Like, I think I saw the Koreans doing something similar on Towers of Doom. This is the comp that they needed. They were going to run a strategy like this.
It's rough, because I say, naturally, by getting around that objective, you're asking for a fight to break out, right? But you can't force the fight, so how do you achieve it? Well, I think the only really window they have right now is to try and force macro objectives, so have lanes being pushed out, forcing it to be a 3v5 or a 4v5, or whatever it might be, allowing you to try and pick up that advantage, given that your comp isn't well suited. But there goes the Syndragosa, there goes the pseudo Sylvanas, if you ever will. John Cena slaps onto Diablo, and the team follow pursuit. Mouth is gone into a 1-for-1 trade. This could be the turnaround Ethereal need. That keep isn't doing any damage. It is locked out, but Small is the second member to follow again. And like a repeat of last game, Vandie, I'm getting flashbacks, potentially another 15-minute win. Hacking the front line, protection isn't going to be enough. He does get taken out. It's a 2-for-2 trade. And Darksided forced to retreat once again.
Oh, this could be it. The kills that they need. Get the push going.
Greatness is just jumping around like an absolute madman, but Sashin is there. One more pincer will do it. Now he's going for the impossible. Can he get the 2v1? He's got the symbiote hat. Absolutely he can. Adrenaline boost, giving him so much movement speed. And I tell you what, Touch Me said LOL, and I'm laughing as well because that was ridiculous. Sashin's still doing work. Both charges at the APOC. And it's now frontliners against frontliners. This ain't a 5v5. This is a 2v2, Vandie.
Oh my god, that was sickening. Really, that Cocoon getting so much value by locking out Oriole. There was no healing going on. And then his Carapace plus Symbiote keeping him alive, doing so much damage. Look at that
dirty.
Again. They look
absolutely
low, but they're not.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that is disgusting. Well summarized. It's that Abathur bait, isn't it? With that, once the symbiote comes out, once the Abathur hat comes on, it's like, oh, I actually do have another friend here with me, and he's going to empower me and give me a shield and do damage, and it's just so frustrating, isn't it?
It's the age-old analogy of, never take candy from a stranger, and right now, Sashin was the candy. He was running away in such low HP. Ooh, I want my sugar fix, and he gets baited by the symbiote hat, gets taken out for free, and poor old Diablo is left to try and think about his decisions.
Yep, essentially that. And poor Aluminum, he could have helped, he could have turned the tide of battle, but he was locked out by the Cocoon. Touch Me was instantly, he reacted, he was trying to bail him out, but the damage had already been done. Greatness had fallen, so... Alright, another shrine's happening. They have picked up some of that macro that we were talking about, getting that Bruiser camp happening, getting the Shaman camp going in that top lane. Hopefully it can force some sort of rotation, but, if you're already at this point now, they don't need to respond to it because they can just threaten your keep.
Well, that's it. I mean, the Henderson Drones are ready to go. They're going to completely ignore this. Surely saying that Abathur single-handedly can do it on his own. Level 20 is in favour. There goes Sinjagosu, there goes the full Titan's Chrosometer, but that VP is insane. It negates the Welling Arrows. The negative synergy there. There's no chance for a big combo to come out. But the APOC, lots of members locked into that. It does focus on towards Sashin. Chrosometer takes the blade to his face, the resets, the double Genjis. It's disgusting, it's dirty, and I don't want to see it ever again. They're on the core. They're going to go straight past the keep. Triple kill. Can I get a quadra kill? Can I get a core for the win? It's Darkseid looking to get the clean 2-0 and secure week 3 playoffs.
Yep, this is their game. I really did think, with how it went, I believe that Ethereal actually could have pulled this off. They just needed some slight drafting changes, and they just needed to realize that they could not teamfight, not with their comp. If they played it different, I think it could have been their game, Skimmy.
I mean, the early game, it had to happen, but as soon as the game started to scale a little bit more, you started to see the cracks, the weaknesses really getting exposed, and Darkseid knew that. They explored it, and as a result, they, got a 4-level lead, and the game closed out 33 kills to 9, an absolute bloodbath. I'm sure Darkseid had a lot of fun with that one, Vandie, but MVP nomination time, look at that.
Yep, so I mean... Instantly, I can see Hacky. He did the most damage, and seeing 2 Genjis was just disgusting. Tamai's doing so much body soaking. But really, I think it was Sashin that game for me, as well as Vikarak. I'm trying to figure out who between those two, if you agree. I'll let you sort of pick. But really, okay, so Sashin setting up a lot of those fights. Like I said, the candy from the Stranger's analogy. Just Anubrak, such a disgusting hero, essentially. That's why he's either picked or banned. And Vikarak with the Syndragoses at the end, once he started getting them to work, just locking out the structures, really great job.
Yeah, I mean, Vikarak, once he stopped running it down mid, he actually did have a big impact on the game with those Syndragoses. But Hacky, I mean, you touched